Pisces, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. To enjoy this video and understand this video, all you need to understand or know is your birth date. That's it. Everything else I will translate for you. We're going to start off really, really broad, Pisces, with all the big stuff that it is impacting everybody. And then I'm going to focus down into Pisces specific information. And then I will break things down into the 3 decans of Pisces, which is how I will be able to tell how your natal suns are being impacted and translate that for you into what that means for your day-to-day. Don't worry, you don't need to know where your natal sun is located. All you need to know is where your birthday, what your birthday is. And I will let you know how that translates into the correlating point or degree on the zodiac wheel. But if you want to get your natal chart, that's sort of the best way to start, especially understanding more about astrology in general. And they're free to get. You can get them many different websites on the web. You just need your birth time, your birth date, and your birth location. All right, let's get into the big stuff. Oh, the biggest transit this week is that Mercury is going to be transiting into Virgo on the 28th. This is really nice energy because Virgo is one of Mercury's home domiciles. So it's really confident and competent in Virgo energy. Mercury is extremely pragmatic. It's extremely scheduled. It's extremely reliable. It's extremely efficient and economic when it comes to Virgo energy. This is, yes, you're talking, yes, you're making statements, but you're only saying what you need to say based on what you know strategically is important for that moment. There's also a lot of common sense kind of knowledge that comes with Mercury and Virgo. Mercury is also going to be conjuncting Venus. The perfect conjunction happens on the 28th, but the general conjunction within 5 degrees of Venus will start from on the 26th and go through the 30th of this week. That makes for an interesting combination because Venus is square to Uranus all week long. And so, of course, when Mercury conjuncts Venus, Mercury becomes square to Uranus as well. Mercury was square to Uranus already. Mercury square to Uranus on its own can cause a lot of friction and frazzled when it comes to information and tech. It can kind of go haywire. Now, Mercury conjunct Venus is a beautiful, eloquent energy that is very graceful and poetic, romantic talk. And so both of them conjunct squaring Uranus gives us an interesting, almost mischievous energy of surprise. Maybe surprise encounters, maybe surprise, especially through technology, DMs, stuff that's happened on the internet that you may not have thought would happen, but it's almost what makes me think of William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. When everything gets thrown into chaos and turned upside down to make the wrong people fall in love to actually make things right. And so there is that kind of Midsummer Night's Dream kind of energy about this conjunction square to Uranus. Now, all week long, Venus is going to be square to Uranus, so that already means mischievous shakeups when it comes to romance or even finances or what we desire, what we value, how we value things, and what we're attracted to. There's a lot of surprises there because Uranus generates this energy of wanting to rebel, of wanting to surprise people or wanting surprises in your life when it comes to not the same old, being bored with the average or the ordinary. It can in some ways also compromise our standards just because it's not about standards as much as it's about something different, needing something different. These kind of energies or experiences don't necessarily have longevity past the aspect themselves, but at the same time, they can really shake things up and show us different things about ourselves, which is what squares in general do. They challenge us to teach us and hopefully make us make better decisions in the long term. On the 29th, something very interesting happens, and that is the moon is in Sagittarius and it forms for a couple of hours, it forms a grand fire trine. The moon is in Sagittarius. It forms a trine with Venus in Leo and the North Node in Aries. And what I wrote down is this could grant us sort of a preview to where we are going, where we are headed, getting us more comfortable with what we actually desire and want. And with those shakeups that are happening on the 27th, 28th, because of the conjunction between Venus and Mercury square Uranus, there's a lot of truth that could be coming out over this week when it comes to how we really feel about our current situation. Are we bored with it? And what do we want to change about it? We have all week long Mars trine to Jupiter and the Sun square to Jupiter from the 29th on. The Sun square to Jupiter kind of makes us want to take action, want expansion, almost like desperate and impulsive for it. Like fiending for it, even if we're not necessarily ready for it. But the trine to Mars suggests that's the energy that we need to take those leaps of faith forward, to just try something, do something, take action, because we got to shake up this stuff. Uranus has been in Taurus for I think 3 years now, and it will be in Taurus through the 2026. So there's this energy of, Uranus has been spending a lot of time trying to break and change the norms and the traditional standards. This is very conflicting energy, and it doesn't move fast. But this is, I think, is the week we see the first crack in the dam that's holding everything back. We have a Mercury in opposition to Saturn as of the 29th as well, which can almost make us question intelligently, like feel restricted, like we're not allowed to speak, we're not allowed to say anything, restrictions and confinements when it comes to what we can do and what we can say. So politically, and I don't mean to get too political, but there's a lot of stuff going on now about free speech. And so there's a lot of stuff that may come out that really surprises us as we confront those issues. What's nice is that the Pluto opposition, or Sun opposite Pluto, has been by the 28th kind of dissipated. It's not, they're not really in opposition to each other, and that makes the week feel a lot lighter, like less pressure is on us, and like it doesn't feel like so much like everything is so heavy. And also Mars opposite Saturn kind of dissipates as well, as Mars moves on from Saturn, and Saturn retrogrades another degree back into Pisces. They're more than 5 degrees apart from each other, so it's not a strong opposition, and that's good too, because Mars opposite Saturn is so much more angry and resentful than Mercury opposite Saturn. Mercury opposite Saturn kind of challenges the sense of why the rules, laws, and regulations exist, especially when restricting what people can say and how people can talk, and maybe even bringing those topics to the forefront. Let's go on. Let's move on to the Pisces specific information. Okay, so what I look at for Pisces specific information is what's going on in Pisces, the zodiac sign of Pisces, and then what's happening with your ruling dignitaries. And yes, I do consider you having 2 of them, because your traditional ruler was Jupiter until Neptune was discovered within modern times, we'll say. And then all of a sudden, your energy kind of expanded and became more clear. But still, Jupiter does impact what you do and how you do it, and with what fervor you do it with. And so where Jupiter may rule sort of the 3D world expanding through faith, Neptune is how our reality in general expands through imagination and through non-existence. So Neptune is the non-existent. It is the mysterious. It is the undefined. But without it, there would be no room for our reality to grow. So it's actually through Neptune that everything new comes into reality, and why reality keeps changing. Because if it was just stuck and confined to reality, we wouldn't grow or change at all. And we've really had a lot of blocks that have been going on recently. And so Neptune is here to start imbibing reality with new imagination. So what's going on with Pisces? In Pisces, we have Saturn in retrograde. It is going to retrograde from 6 degrees Pisces to 5 degrees Pisces. That means it's still conjunct to the natal suns of those in the first decan of Pisces. And it'll be like that for the full year. Then we have Neptune, which is also in retrograde in the third decan of Pisces at 27 degrees Pisces, and it will be there all year as well. So no big changes there. But what's going on with Jupiter and Neptune? Well, Jupiter is semi-square to Neptune, so your two ruling dignitaries are kind of frustrating each other, creating almost a stubbornness here. It's like, do we really want to expand reality? Are we really willing to hand ourselves over to imagination and maybe delusion? Do we have enough faith to trust this process when we've gotten so comfortable? And do we really trust any kind of illusions anymore? Like maybe we don't have enough reality that's been settling in our hands recently. So then we have it's almost like this sense of when there's that friction between Neptune and Jupiter, do we have to see it to believe it, or can we believe it before we see it? Does it exist because we believe it, or does it exist because we can see it and that's why we believe in it? So it really makes us question, do you even have enough faith to believe things that aren't undefined, or to let them happen, right? Or have we become distracted and delusional? Good question. We also have Jupiter trine to Mars, which is a very blessed energy. This is opportunity, moving forward, wanting to move forward, and almost fortunate opportunity as we move forward to take steps forward and make progress and use our energy to create progress and momentum is actually going to generate a lot of benefits and opportunity now. And then we have Jupiter square to the sun, which just makes us more impetuous and wanting and needing of growth and expansion, something crawling under our skin, making us sick of the same old, same old. And then we have Neptune at 27 degrees Pisces. Neptune is in this really powerful place where it's sextile to Pluto, which always correlates to some major scientific breakthrough. Historically, it's generally what did I say last week? It's nuclear energy. But now that Neptune is also Pluto is also trine to Uranus. There is this energy of something technological or mathematical that is absolutely going to bridge that gap between what we considered fiction and nonfiction. That's kind of almost where we're at now, even though that's happening more long-term than it is right now this week. Neptune also is right now, like I said, semi-square to Jupiter, which is making us question, what do we believe in and why do we believe in it? And it's a fair question. So what does this all mean for you, right? What is this? How is this all impacting you guys? Let's go into the 3 decans of Pisces. If you know that your natal sun is somewhere between 0 and 9 degrees Pisces, then you are Pisces 1. Because your natal sun is in the first decan of Pisces. This correlates to Piscean birthdays in February. Anything from February 19th to February 29th or February 28th, depending on, when February ends that year. So it could even go into March 1st. So that would be Pisces 1. Definitely Aquarius cuspers. Your natal suns are the ones conjunct Saturn, which means you have a very serious, almost very super realistic energy to you, comparatively, wanting something to be tangible. And also people taking you seriously, maybe even putting you in leadership roles or taking on leadership roles. This is long-term over this year. This week through the 28th, your natal suns are opposite Mars. So there's still that tension and feeling of, I don't want to move forward. I'm resisting the momentum. But then that breaks and that dissipates. And your natal suns by the 28th will be opposite Mercury. So the sense of maybe I shouldn't talk or say anything. This isn't a great time for you to write anything down or sign any important paperwork. Definitely wait till this week is over and that opposition to Mercury is over, because it can really mess up communications or intentions. We also have your natal sun's sextile to the south node, which means feeling really taking opportunity from what you're good at and opening up doors or getting more comfortable with possibilities of applying that to the future, because your natal sun is also trine the north node. But this is only if you're at the very cusp. Say you're born February 19th, February 20th. The relationship with the nodes. It's just going to mean that for you, this is more of a dynamic change to who you are, to your ego itself, and what you think you're good at, how you are applying your talents and your skills. And then we have quincunx to the sun, which means challenging yourself, feeling frustrated, maybe feeling like you're getting not enough attention or validation this week. This could also lead to spikes in egotism, or arrogance. So try to ground yourself and to understand that this is more an internal perception of yourself than an external one. Just to let you know. Let's go on to Pisces 2. So if you know that your natal sun is somewhere between 10 and 19 degrees Pisces, you are a Pisces 2. This correlates to Piscean birthdays between, say, March 1st through the 10th, or March 2nd through the 11th, depending whether or not it's a leap year. So your natal suns are sextile to Jupiter, and this is a really blessed energy, especially since your natal suns are opposite Mars. That means impulsivity, impetuousness, maybe even anger, frustration, but the sextile to Jupiter is giving you blessings and lucky opportunities. So this week, because Mars is also trine to Jupiter, there is this sense of, if you act impetuously, it won't end up badly, and you should kind of trust your impulses to take those chances this week. We also have a semi-square to the south node, which means sort of a stubbornness or a laziness when it comes to working your way out of your comfort zone, or even acceptance of where you come from, and appreciation for what you are good at. Since the south node is now in partnership, this kind of asks you to understand just how powerful partnership could be, instead of underestimating it, but not falling back on it so much you get too cozy there and are expectant and dependent upon it. Just an FYI. So let's go on to Pisces 3. If you know your natal suns are between 20 and 29 degrees Pisces, you are Pisces 3. This correlates to Piscean birthdays from March 11th through the 21st. Definitely Aries cuspers, right? The 21st, 22nd, 23rd of March. Your natal suns are the ones conjunct to Neptune, which means they're also sextile to Pluto, and this puts you in this really expansive, really groundbreaking, really I'm wide open, majorly faithful, intuitive, and psychic connection to the ether and what's going on. So you may have insights that you don't even understand. Journal them, write them down. It's really important to do so. That's long term. We also have this week. This week is going to be quite tricky, because you have a quincunx to the Mercury-Venus conjunction and a quincunx to Venus all week long. Now, the Mercury-Venus conjunction happens on the 28th, but Venus all week long, there is some agitation with desires and interests. There is something crawling under your skin that is making you not feel so particularly comfortable with what's going on, or all the curveballs that keep popping up, or with these desires and words or conversations that you might have with somebody that pique interests that you didn't know you had before. That could create extra agitation or friction in your life this week. Just an FYI, check those DMs, watch those DMs. Those conversations could go in directions that you didn't expect them to go in with people that you barely even know. I'm just letting you know that. Because since you're so accepting and open, this could take you places that could cause tensions or distractions in especially your romantic situations. Just an FYI, it may be really fun and really exciting. And if you don't expect it to last beyond these couple of weeks in front of you, then that's fine. This could actually just be a whirlwind kind of energy for you. You let me know in the comments below. I would love to know how this energy is impacting you, Pisces. And then definitely come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. Please subscribe to this channel before you click off. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.